people to connect, especially if you have immigrant cultures. It helps people to connect with their community if they're able to produce the food that's culturally relevant to them. One example of this that I remember was I went to grad school in Mississippi, and I did some work with international students there. I had some friends who were international students. And there was, you can imagine, Mississippi is not an incredibly diverse place, but a lot of the international students were Asian, and they moved in and they said, we can't find our food here. And so what did they do? They went outside the apartment. I'm not sure if they even asked anyone if they could do this. This was on university property, and they started planting Chinese vegetables. And then they would put them on their trucks, and they would come to this international student center on Saturday, and they'd have their market, and they'd start selling their produce. So they said, you know, this is really important to me that I eat the food that I connect with, and that I have a way of growing it, and I'm going to grow it here, and then if anyone wants to buy it, you can buy it too. So it's always really stuck with me as an impression of how important food is to our culture and our sense of place. I'm going to skip this. If you guys are interested in seeing an example of urban foraging, someone who's walking through a forest and finding what he can eat, you can take a look at this video. Some people are foraging for their foods even through walking, you know, alleys and picking hanging fruit that's, you know, hanging over. But
we saw the movie here.
yeah.
Movie.
Okay, good. All right. So, what do you guys think you can do to be involved in the sustainable food movement? What are things that you can do?
Move out of the
What else?
Well, definitely just start planting your own food.
Grow your own
So
fruits.
We used to, my family used to do that, and then we all got busy, and then I think we lost that connection, so we should definitely start that again.
Yeah, if you have land, then growing some of your own food. It's great. You can become a member of a CSA as well. I think the other benefit on an individual level of participating in a CSA is you get a box of all kinds of things that you might not normally purchase, and hopefully you don't want to throw it away, so you're going to come up with a way of integrating all of those things into your life. I think it can encourage you to
I
do
have a
it.
question. How expensive is that, like joining this thing?
They're usually about, like, a box about this size of vegetables and fruit is about $20. And I wish I had a picture of what would be in
Long
it.
Beach Road will help us actually.
Yeah.
The little box,
You can buy a small box, you can buy a large box, you can get it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, so there are a lot of purchase options that are available. But it's not super expensive, it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, Sage.
Do you guys have like a drop-off site where you can pick them up, or do you have to go to a...
Yeah, no, they have, like Tanaka Farms that we went to, they have drop-off sites that are right down the street from me in Torrance. So many of the farms, some farms don't do drop-off, but others do. Early 2000s, they were doing a fruit and vegetable pilot program, and I was doing my research at the time, so focus groups, we're doing focus groups with parents, and they talked about how before this program, the kids could bring anything in for their snack. But when the program was initiated, they were providing a fresh fruit or vegetable to every kid every day. You could not bring in anything else. And so the parents said that previously grapes were not a very cool thing for them to have for lunch, but once everybody was eating it, leveled the playing field, then grapes became fine. So I think schools have a really big role to play in helping to shape the norms and then exposing kids in a group environment to these things. And even engaging kids as agents of change. We think about, sometimes we kind of write kids off, but I've seen examples of getting kids involved, and actually we had this in New York. It was called Eat Wise, but we got kids involved in this movement and used them as propellants in their communities and families, you know, and talked to them about what the importance of food was and used them as agents of change. So that's another thought.
Any other question?
Any other questions you have?
Thank you so much.
And I gave you guys, in addition to the references, a bunch of additional resources. If you want to know more, I've given you plenty of avenues of looking for it.